Welcome to the Desert Shave Den. For today's shave, we're going to jump into New York City's past. Let's get started. Hi everyone, and thank you for watching. My name is Joseph. So November happens to be my birthday month, and I just totally impulse buyed this limited edition soap from Pasteur Pharmacy. It's Gotham soap, the Bowery Boys. And you can see this truly is my first shave with it. I just got it in the mail yesterday, and it smells really awesome. I'll get more into the scent notes later. But look at that artwork. I mean, it's got like old turn-of-the-century New York City, maybe Lower East Side. And I'll talk about the kind of concept for this soap, along with the scent notes and the ingredients even later. But let's get a lather going. I thought about bowl lathering this, but I think it'll suit well for face lathering. Got a little bloom water going, wetting my badger hair brush, and right off the bat, I mean the lather is just coming to life. And as you saw, I didn't bloom it for more than just a few seconds. We'll need to dip the brush, really make sure there's enough moisture in there. But right off the bat, it's looking really creamy, really yogurty. And so far can't complain, and I'm really liking the smell. So I'll be using, you'll see in a minute, I'll be using Proraso Green Pre-Shave. But other than that, I want to get this face lather going. This is sort of a treat to myself. So let's talk about the ingredients of this soap. It's not a tallow soap, but it's got a little bit of an interesting ingredient list. The ingredients listed on the Pasteur Pharmacy website are cocoa butter, kokum butter, Illipi butter, I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of these, stearic acid, glycerin, coconut oil, lye, reconstituted aloe juice, cow milk, myristic acid, might be pronouncing that wrong as well, lye again, but this is sodium hydroxide, the previous one was potassium hydroxide. It has the periodic table elements, symbols, KOH and NaOH if you're into that, shea butter, castor oil, bentonite clay, EDTA fragrance, and tussa silk. So this is really interesting, but as I'm applying it, it's going on really creamy and really easy. Very first impressions, I'm liking this, and I just have to smell it again, because that's whenever you buy something online that you haven't smelled, you're not sure what you're going to get, but this really smells awesome. As you can see, I've got my Rockwell 2C on a 3-plate with a Vashkod blade. So, as I start the first pass here, feeling nice and smooth, no surprises there. But let's talk a little bit more about the scent and the inspiration for this soap. So let's talk about the scent notes specifically. So, on the Pasteur Pharmacy website, they say it's a dupe of Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford. I haven't actually smelled that cologne before, but it has a really nice, kind of suave, high-end smell. It's not like you're walking into the fragrance section at a Macy's or anything like that. It's really elegant, not musky or anything, just really nice. And so they say it's a woody, spicy fragrance for women and men. I would definitely classify it as masculine, but I had my wife smell it, and she really liked it. I don't think it's something she would wear, but, sometimes, the fellas out there, maybe you can relate to this, will have situations where, especially when we can go into a shop like Razor Emporium, or even when we just get stuff in the mail, we'll smell something, we'll be like, oh, hey, girlfriend or wife or significant other, this smells really good. What do you think? And then they're like, oh, that's gross. I don't want you to ever smell like that. So I've been there a lot, but fortunately, this one was also a winner in my wife's book, so that's good, and I really like it. So the scent notes specifically, it says the top note is whiskey. The middle notes are spicy notes, cinnamon and coriander. The base notes are tobacco, agarwood or oud, sandalwood, incense, patchouli, benzoin, vanilla, and cedar. And it's just really nice. It's I would say moderate scent strength, maybe a 5, maybe a 6. You can really smell it even as you're shaving, but it's not going to choke somebody as you're walking by, and it's certainly enjoyable while you're shaving. As you can see here, I'm just finishing up the first pass, going more or less with the grain everywhere. I think as I'm doing the mustache here, I think I need to hydrate the soap a little bit more. I'm going to rinse, see where we're at. But considering this is literally my first shave and it's a face lather, that was great. So I'm going to, I have good residual slickness, but make sure there's a little extra moisture in the brush for this second pass as I go across the grain. So let's talk about the kind of concept, like the Bowery boys and the artwork. Like what does all that mean? Well, the website on Pasteur Pharmacy says, step into history, transport yourself to the late 1800s, a time when Paul Kelly commanded an army of 1,500 mobsters. So it's kind of supposed to capture that turn of the century, maybe late Gilded Age chapter of New York City. There was, certainly a lot of wealth inequality, so there were some very rich and high-to-do or well-to-do people in New York City, but of course in other areas of the city, like the Lower East Side and those parts of Manhattan, there were migrants or immigrants living in tenements, and to get by, sometimes they resorted to organized crime, and that's really just a very integral part of New York City's history. And I know you shouldn't buy a soap just for the artwork, but when I saw this label, I knew I just had to have it. And for a little background, even though I'm the Desert Shave Den and born and raised in Arizona, currently live in Arizona, I actually went to school for a couple of years in New York City. So it's just I'm certainly not a New Yorker or anything like that, but I am a sucker for the city of New York. It's one of my favorite places to visit, and aside from being just a really great city, I love the history in the city. That's something we really don't have out here in Phoenix. There wasn't really a large population here in the Phoenix metropolitan area until the middle of the 20th century, so maybe 60, 70 years ago at most, and that largely coincides with the invention or widespread availability of air conditioning, because let's be honest, you're not going to have a city of several million people without air conditioning when it gets to 118 or 120 in the summer. But aside from all that, so I do kind of have that connection with New York City, and that's when I saw this soap, I was like, oh, I gotta have it. Plus, I've been wanting a tobacco or something in the family of tobacco for a long time, and I actually didn't have anything in my collection. And actually here, as I do my across the grain, my final pass on the mustache, I'll do a third pass on the cheeks and such, but let's rinse and see where we're at. I wanted something tobacco, and this really, as soon as I saw it, I probably saw Pasteur, they probably served up ads on Instagram or something. I was like, oh, I gotta have that. And fortunately, so far, it's living up to the hype, both the hype, I should say, both in performance and in terms of scent. Both are really awesome. And the added hydration to the lather for that second pass and now here in the third pass has really helped out. It's got a ton of cushion, but it's really slick, especially as I added that extra hydration. Now, I should say, I don't have the matching splash for this, but what I did do, and still keeping in line with the sort of historical side of New York City, is for the aftershave splash I'm using today, it's one I've sampled before, but it's not one I've purchased in a full size, or in this case, a 1-ounce travel size. But it's Bricktown Grooming's San Juan Hill scent. Now, for some background, and honestly, I'll have to get a Bricktown soap and do a full video on Bricktown. But basically, I actually was introduced to them at the Arizona Shavers Meetup in February of 2023, and Phil, who's the company owner for Bricktown, he's a really great guy. I got to meet him and talk with him a little bit. Basically, I won't do a deep dive this video, but he used to be in the Navy, and his family is from a town just up the Hudson River from New York City called Haverstraw, New York. And the history behind that city is they were largely known for producing the bricks and other like hardware stuff that was shipped down the river to build New York City. So the city of Haverstraw, New York got the nickname of Bricktown. So if you ever meet Phil, he's a really nice guy. And he's got that nice, Navy heritage, and so he's got the American flag on his bottle, and all the scent names have something to tie into either the military or the Navy or just different stuff like that. And so San Juan Hill, I need to read up on my history. I want to say that was something from the Spanish-American War, but this is a really great scent. I just did a cold water rinse and I'm toweling off. But this is his tobacco and vanilla scent. But really, it's got a major cinnamon note, and it's really just awesome. It's got a good simple ingredient list with like vitamin E and coconut oil. Feels very moisturizing, but it's not like it doesn't leave an oily layer on your face. When I was at that meetup, another guy walked up and he was showing us the San Juan Hill soap, and we both smelled it, and the guy next to me, he said, "That's killer." And I agree. That's like, I don't, that's not my kind of verbiage, but like this scent is killer. If you want a tobacco, vanilla, cinnamon scent, like this is a 100% knock it out of the park. The formulation is great. I gotta stop talking because that's the end of the shave, but I gotta do a separate video on Bricktown Grooming. And as I do a side-by-side, it's actually a really close match. More cinnamon in the San Juan Hill, but this is a great pairing. And yeah, look at that art. Look at that artwork. You just can't go wrong. So okay, so that's the shave. This is really this feels like a birthday treat. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Actually, I think that's important. But I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching.